Okay, let's talk about something that is absolutely blowing up right now, web accessibility. You've probably seen it everywhere. It's a topic that's just buzzing with hype and honestly a little bit of fear and a whole lot of confusion. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise and get to what really matters, designing for actual humans. So let's just dive right into the one question that every business owner is asking, the question that so many AI companies are betting on. Can you just use an AI tool, click a button, and make your website accessible? Just be done with it. Well, the short answer is no, but it's a little more complicated than that. See, AI tools can definitely assist you. They're kind of like a spell checker. They're great at finding certain technical mistakes. But what they can't do is ensure true accessibility. And why is that? Because real accessibility is about a person's experience. And an algorithm, well, it just can't measure human frustration or confusion. So how did we even get here? Why does this whole topic feel so overwhelming and, frankly, so stressful right now? Let's unpack the source of what I've started calling the accessibility panic. Where is all this pressure really coming from? It's really a perfect storm. First, you've got an increase in actual lawsuits, which gets everyone's attention. That opens the door for a flood of AI tools that make these huge promises, like instant compliance. Then you add some really aggressive, fear-based marketing on top, and the whole thing just gets spread like wildfire across social media. And the result of all that noise for you, the business owner, well, it's pretty predictable, isn't it? It's confusion, it's panic, and often it leads to spending money on these quick fix solutions that don't actually solve the real problem. So if you've been feeling that way, you are definitely not alone. Okay, so let's really zoom in on the single biggest source of confusion here, the role of AI. It is so important that we separate what an automated tool can check from what a human being actually experiences when they use your site. Now, to be fair, these AI scanners are good at some things. They can whip through your site and instantly flag technical stuff, like if your text color doesn't have enough contrast with the background. They can spot an image that's missing its alternative text. They can find some obvious structural problems. Think of them as a decent first pass, surface level check. But here's what the AI misses, and this is the huge gap. An AI can see if alt text exists, but it has no idea if that text is actually helpful or if it's just gibberish. It can't measure cognitive load, which is just a fancy way of saying how much mental effort it takes to use your site. And it certainly can't tell you if a user is feeling frustrated or if your instructions are just plain confusing. So let's be absolutely crystal clear on this point because it's crucial. Getting a perfect score from an automated scanner does not mean your website is actually usable for a person with a disability. A passing grade is not and will never be the same as a good human experience. And that brings us to the core shift we all need to make. We have to move our focus away from just blindly checking boxes on some technical list and start thinking about this as a human-centered practice. So what even is accessibility, really? At its heart, it's pretty simple. It just means that people with different abilities can use your site. That's it. It means your content is understandable, your buttons and links are usable, your information is perceivable. It's about inclusion. It's not about chasing some impossible standard of perfection. Let's just say that again. Because if you take one thing away from this, it's this. The goal is not a perfect score on a checklist. The goal is creating a better, more thoughtful, more respectful experience for another human being. Okay, now let's completely reframe this. Instead of seeing accessibility as a risk you have to manage or a problem you have to solve, let's look at it for what it truly is, a significant opportunity for your business. This is one of my favorite points because accessible design is just good design, period. Think about captions on a video. They are absolutely essential for users who are deaf, right? But who else uses them? Anyone watching a video in a loud coffee shop or in a quiet library? When you design for clarity, you reduce friction and build trust for every single person who visits your site. And of course, when you make your digital front door easier for everyone to walk through, you are quite literally opening up your business to a much, much larger audience. It's a direct, tangible benefit to your bottom line. So the takeaway here is that this isn't just about optics or avoiding trouble. It's a seriously smart business strategy. We're talking about reaching more people, building deep trust with your customers, seeing lower bounce rates, and better conversions. Plus, an accessible site is just a more robust site that ages better over time. Okay, so let's bring this all home. Let's talk about a grounded, practical way you can think about this. Here's how you can start evaluating your site's accessibility right now, without the fear, without the panic. Forget the scanners for just a minute. Start with the most basic, human question there is. Can someone who lands on this page understand it easily? Is the language clear? Is it direct? Next, think about the journey. If someone visits your site for the very first time, can they find what they're looking for? Is the menu where they'd expect it to be? Is the path from one page to the next logical and, predictable? And then focus on usability. When a user sees a button that says Learn More, is it completely obvious what's going to happen when they click it? Are your forms simple? Are your instructions clear? Clarity is absolutely key. And this last question, this one gets to the heart of cognitive accessibility. It's about how your site makes someone feel. Is it a calm, focused experience? Or is it a confusing mess of pop-ups and auto-playing videos and a dozen things all shouting for attention at once? So let's just end with this simple reframing. Accessibility is not a legal trap you have to avoid. It's not a passing trend, and it's definitely not a one-time fix. Accessibility is an ongoing awareness. It's a fundamental respect for your users, and it's simply part of what it means to own a business in our digital world. And always, always remember this. Perfection is not the goal. Nobody expects your site to be perfect. What really matters is intentional, thoughtful improvement over time. Just focus on making your website a slightly better place for people today than it was yesterday, and you'll be on exactly the right path. Thanks so much for tuning in.